to magic, filling pages of every book that tells stories of a holiday season. With songs choirs sing through the air for a special reason, with hope and love felt everywhere. This is what it's all about. The angels will sing and shout. The time comes once a year when physical feelings overtake you and bring you closer to those you hold dear. Because these are the times to remember the power of December. Each day is filled with a glow. There's just some things you should know. It's a transformation across every nation, and every star in the constellation is in all the children's eyes. You can't help but wonder why the love that brings us here, this magical time of year. These are the times to remember the power of December, yeah.
Oh, that was pretty abrupt. I had it on fade. That's what happens when you don't do this that often. I had, what did I have? So it's weird because I had, for years, doesn't seem like almost 7 years, well, 6.5 almost, but who's counting, right? So I had this software given to me. Well, I was actually kind of paid for by a friend of mine who I haven't seen probably, at least 3 or 4 years. And she used to do this with me all the time, Donna. And she works a big nightclub downtown Detroit, about 20 miles from here. And anyway, let's see. Oh, hey, Phil and Tina. All right. Now, let me see. What does this mean? Okay. All right, this is kind of cool. All right. So I'm looking at all these different things here. Oh, I see. It's right on the side, so I don't even have to do that. All right, and then let's see. Oh, see, tall, wide. I didn't do this before. Yeah, that's better. That's better. Hey, Phil. Hey, Tina. How are you guys doing? Now, anyway, so I was for about 3-4 years. I don't even know what year this is. I'm watching Blue Bloods on Ion. That's my favorite free TV station, Ion, ION. It's I think channel 31. I pay for all these subscriptions. I just jumped off what I was saying, but I pay for all these subscriptions and Netflix. I bought that originally for my kids when it first came out. I was a really big fan of Netflix, even though they didn't have all the movies like Blockbuster had, the A-listed movies that are at the theater that you wait months and months for, sometimes a couple of years. And where was I going with this? So I bought Netflix for my kids, Sabrina and Dante, then of course Sophia. And then after I got divorced, shortly after, a few years later, my kids would watch movies with them, my 2 oldest ones, because I didn't see Sophia. She went with the mom, and I didn't see her most of the time until about 2000. Let's see, they're taking in 15. So about 16, about a year and a half later, I got to take them on a cruise, and I saw them on the holidays, which I wasn't supposed to, but her mom pretended. So then I added, what else did I have? HBO Max. I don't think in this particular order. I think Prime came out, now Paramount Plus. So I paid for all these things. Well, when Sophia came to stay with me about 3.5, 4 years ago, during COVID or whatever that was. God, that was 2020, right? So, okay. So anyway, she would always want to watch the movies that weren't covered. Maybe $4, $5, $6 a movie. And then when she'd come over every other weekend, she would want to watch them again. So I had to do that all over again. I don't know if you guys can hear me, by the way. Is my microphone working? Yeah, it says it is. They got a whole new screen here. I wish you guys could see it because it's like, they added a lot of bells and whistles and this and that. And I was paying, okay, hold on, let me get rid of this. Okay, good. Okay, so I was paying, I was paying for this, and it was like 20 something dollars a month, 24, $25 a month. Well, then last year, because I was doing it like 2, 3 times a week, especially during COVID, right? And that lasted what, about a good year and a half, and it kept me occupied. Everybody else, I guess, for a lot of reasons, too many to count. And I've already said it a million times. So then when last year, they offered one of those Black Friday specials. And I happened to be making really good money the end of November for the first time in a long time, because I didn't make any money in Nashville. Nashville cost me quite a bit. I was paying like $1,500+ a month just to rent a room when I let go of the house in Troy. And that was 3 months after I last saw Sophia in January. I saw Sophia in January of 2023 on her 13th birthday. And that was the last time I saw her. So I decided I'd go to Nashville, and I had a box of music, all kinds of stuff. So I went there. You guys know the rest of the story. I'm updating some people because I lost about a couple hundred people in the last couple of years. I even lost people. I had like 4 or 5 people sign up for me. And this app tells me when. It's nice that it tells me, because people ask me what this app I have. It's called Still Friends. I've had it for about 4 years now. And because I was losing a lot of people and gaining a lot of people at the same time. And I was like, it kept kind of a good record of who was coming and going. And I've already given my reasons for it. And some people go, why do you care? Well, I care because sometimes, here's the funny part. If you ever get this app, that's a great question. I'm going to answer that real quick too. In case you ever wanted, because, Facebook doesn't like have anything built in at all. I don't think Instagram does either, where it'll tell you like, hey, your sister, your cousin, your best friend, somebody, a coworker, whoever, anybody. It doesn't tell you that they, ended their friendship. Now, and it'll tell you like, if they did it on purpose, it'll say, like, you go to their name and it'll say add friend, and you know that they used to be your friend. Then there'll be times where they turn off their face sometimes, how they do that on it. God, my nose always is when I what it is, like a psychological thing. But anyway, so it tells you like their picture and everything will just disappear, but it'll let you know that they're not on your Facebook anymore. And then like maybe a week or a month later or 2 days later, whatever, it'll pop back up, meaning that they turn the Facebook page back on. But if they do it where they block you or they'll unfriend you, then it's pretty apparent. Well, the reason I liked it was because some people would come and go. I didn't know who they were. Some people, like, yeah, they weren't really in whatever. Okay, we all have that, right? Everybody, I don't care who you are. So, but it was funny because once in a while, even the other day, like I don't check it that much, believe it or not. Like I never go on Instagram. So, because I have like 2 people follow me on that page, but this connects to it, right? Nobody sees my stuff, and I don't even know why I even have an Instagram page. I have Snapchat. I'm never on it. What's the other one? X, Twitter. I'm never on it. I've never used it once. Never, ever. Twitter, nothing. This is it right here. So, but the program I use is called StreamYard, which, you get the free version. You get nothing. But if you get the paid version, it does a lot of really cool stuff. There's even a more advanced version that came out like earlier this year, where they have 4K and you can have multiple cameras and a whole bunch of other things, but it's like $500 a month on sale. And I'm like, $500 a month. I mean, forget that. I only have like 5 people watching. And the reason I came on tonight, because it's the 10th, okay, the 10th day of Christmas, I call it, is because, it beguiled me for a long time thinking, well, I don't know who's really watching and I don't know the algorithms and whatever. But, I went out with a friend of mine today who I met years and years ago. His name's Jason Grassi. He's on my Facebook. He's originally from here, like the East Side, like Mount Clemens area, I think. And the guy foam machines who died when he was 44. But he made I was making a ton of money. I would have him making, those cases, those really heavy duty cases for everything. I would have him making cases for everything. I just hand him cash, didn't matter how much. And he would always give me a good deal, even if it was several $100s. And well, anyway, Jason was, always hanging out there. And Jason was probably in his 20s, early 20s. And, but he's like 6'5", 6'4", 6'5". And he came to work for me right after. This is over 10 years ago. In fact, he'd come over when he wasn't married or anything. And he lived up here because he's been living in Florida for over 10 years now. And he's married and has a daughter who's Sophia's age exactly. And Tula. But anyway, he came up here and he wasn't expecting the weather. And he was going to go help me pick up a massage chair that I bought right after my divorce. The thing weighs about 400 pounds. It's one of those big ones you see at Planet Fitness. It's huge. It took 3 or 4 of us to move it. I mean, and usually it's a couple of good-sized guys. So we were going to go up to Saginaw to get it today. I had a trailer rented right down the street at U-Haul. I have a corporate account. And we were going to go. Well, of course, the weather was like crap. Total shit, right? You know, it's 4 or 5 inches of snow. My dad got stuck in his Explorer right in the driveway. It's a flat driveway. It's a nice flat driveway, paved, everything. There's no, you know, whatever. And he was like fishtailing it right into the ditch or the side. There's like a patch of lawn about 15 feet between the neighbors. He just dug that whole thing. And I'm behind it. I'm trying to push it. And usually I can handle it. No, it was that slick. It was just weird because it was like snow meets ice meets rain meets ice. And it was just crazy, right? So Jason came over from Royal Oak on his way to Lake Orion because he was supposed to spend about 4 or 5 hours going to get the chair. Well, he took me out to eat. And where am I going to go with this? Well, when he came in, he was one of those people I thought he would reach out to me every once in a while, not on Facebook, but on the phone. And he's on my Facebook. And I thought we were going to lose touch, you know, because he worked for me a long time ago. And he'd come over, like I said, my ex-wife, Jill, and Sabrina and Dante. This was before Sophia was born. He'd come over. He would drive all the way across town, probably at least 15, 20 miles early in the morning on Christmas and hang out with us. He'd even drink a Coke while we were opening gifts and stuff like that. And I feel bad because I never got him a gift, but I paid him well. So I guess that was a trade-off. And Jason, if you're seeing this, because you are on my Facebook, and I think his wife's on it too. You know, I was sitting there. We went to this place right across from Spanky's, about a mile from here. Spanky's was this teen club back 40 years ago, from 1980 to 1990, that I've done a show with, a teen club. A lot of people on here from my old area, my high school, everybody, you know, would come on and hung out there. Well, right across the street, there's this place called Waltz. It's a little dive, Coney Island. I don't know what year it was, but it was there before the Spanky's. And, you know, like a shoebox kind of Coney. You ever see those little places? It even had a rotary phone on the wall with the phone missing, you know, the dials, if you go back that far. And I looked at him because he's got to be about 47 now, Jason. And he goes, let's go out to eat. He goes, where do you want to go? And I said, oh, where do you want? So we just decided to have some junk food. And they weren't really good. They used to be really good. I don't know what happened. But anyway, so we went there and I'm looking at him and I'm thinking to myself, because time goes by real fast for me. I don't know why. It seems like a year goes by like a minute. It really does. And, you know, there's people, and I'm not, you know, just getting negative or gloomy or anything like that, but it's just, I think a lot of people may, you know, live this kind of life. And I hang out with a lot of people here and there. And my mom was in my car the other day because I'm, you know, at their house, and my mom, you know, in fact, I got to take her somewhere tomorrow because they have one of their cars in Florida. They ship it down there. So they only have one car. And my dad, he's been working with my brother about 10 miles from here. So he takes off. He loves it. He's a supervisor at this big country club, Shenandoah, and he does a lot of really cool stuff. And they love him there, and they feed him. The chefs feed him lunch every day. So it's something for him to do. My dad's 81, but he loves working. He's a workaholic, and he loves doing it. He's probably watching movies right now in the other room. But, you know, and my dad's cool as hell. Sorry. Bleep. But anyway, so what happens is, you know, and I moved out when I was really young, and, you know, me and my dad, you know, we weren't like me and Dante for a long time. In fact, we didn't really have a lot, like we didn't do sports. We didn't do anything like that. But it's funny because I love doing things. Like if my dad asked me to do something, I love doing it. Like if I see something at the store to buy, I'll buy, you know, whatever. And my mom, whatever. My mom will tell you to do it. So, or my dad won't. You know, I just like to surprise him. Where my mom, it's not a surprise; it's more of a command. She's like, yeah, can you do that? You know, but she does it in a real nice way. You know, and she's pretty good at it. You know, well, you don't have to do it right now. Can you do it? Like, you know, now means like in another minute. She might even walk in here. I could be on the phone with like an executive of IBM or IBM. I almost said IBM, Apple. You know, and she'll still talk to me. You know, but what I was going back to about Jason was Jason and I thought we weren't going to be like, you know, that tight. Well, he's in town and he's got a lot of very successful friends, more than I do. Like my friends, if I put my 5 best friends in the same room, they would probably leave me with a tab at the bar, you know. But like his friends, like they'll take us like the VIP, the executive thing at the Red Wings down at LCA or this and that. And I went and DJ'd a party at his one friend's house, who's actually in a wheelchair. but he's got this really cool house, and it's on Lake Orion, and it's got a really cool glass elevator in the house. And they paid me DJ on the, I'm playing music for everybody and floating in the water, and it's probably, it was really cool. And he goes, they're still talking about it, and he made sure that I had food. He made sure I was comfortable. He made sure I had fun, and of course got paid, whatever. And when we went out to eat today, he was going to help me, and I was going to take him to lunch. Well, and then of course he picks up the tab because he whips out this big, it wasn't millions of dollars, but it was a lot of cash. And he goes, "No, it's not me." And I thought, you know what? I may not get like Nashville. There's people that are very talented, way more talented than I could ever be. And I thought I was pretty talented. I mean, I don't even scratch the surface with some of these people, young and old. And I feel so bad because they've worked so hard to be successful down there. And I know most of them won't be. Just like me, I thought maybe, I would have like a lot more people in my life than I did. But, my mom always says something to me when she gets in my car. She always brings up my grandmother, who's been gone since 1993. And she was about 80 when she died. And I love my grandma. I love both my grandmas. They were great. One spoke Spanish and barely spoke any English. And another one was Polish, and she married my grandfather, who was Romanian on my mom's side. So I got like this whatever, right? So anyway, she loves to tell me a story. I've heard it 100 times just this month, but I've heard it for years. She goes, Grandma would always say, you only have 5 people in your hand, that you can count on, maybe if you're lucky. And my mom and dad used to throw the biggest parties all the time. I mean, it wasn't like 20 or 30 people. There'd be like 200 plus people at the party. If maybe more, I don't know. It's crazy. And sometimes less, but and then years later, that kind of toned down. And then there's some people that I know that are just so good at having people around them all the time. I'm not that person, but I thought about it when I saw Jason. I go, you know what? I haven't seen Ryan in a while, and I think about him. And then I got like Gary just popped in. Oh, Grandma got run over. He's from Imlay City, Bay City. I don't know where my ex-wife used to live, and he lives in Louisville. And when I go down to see him, who doesn't even know Jason, and Ryan Johnson is not related to that we were going to go see today in Bay City, or not Bay City, Saginaw. But he also knows Gary Johnson, who lives in Louisville, Kentucky for the last 10 plus years. And I go, and then the list kept getting bigger in my head. And I'm going, God, I have 18 plus 100 people. I've got a couple people that surprised me by unfriending me. Like, wow, that girl's unfriended me. I just met her this summer. I didn't even say anything to her. I didn't hit on her. I didn't do anything. She asked me to be her friend, right? That was today. It was one of my brother's friends at this billionaire party I did back in June. I'm like, so I like the fact that app, Still Friends, it's called Still Friends. And I go, like I said, like, it confuses me because it's like, why did I even friend this person? Because I can see I have at least 50 people, 2/3 are female, but there's a few guys in there, and they're friends with people, maybe you or somebody out there, because I see it. They're not avatars or, I'm not that stupid. It takes me 2 seconds to read a list of things, right? And I'm going, okay, is she friends with him or here? Okay, they got 90 friends in common or 40 friends, something like that. So, and I don't accept their friendships anymore. So when I do that, I think, wow, okay, maybe this one's a good pick. It's like picking fruit, what I mean? Maybe this one tastes good and then you bite into it and it sucks. So it was funny because this is the time of year that people drink more and do drugs more and all this kind of stuff. And I'm not going to go there because I did that every year, the last couple of years. And, but it was funny because, things weren't going right this week. Usually I worked at least 2 times a weekend last year, sometimes 3, good money. And I was really happy about it. And I'm making probably a 1/10 of that. And then the weather, this and that. And I was kind of beating myself up. And I go, you know what? And Jason said something to me that I've heard before and I already knew that's built into all of us, right? And I'm not trying to wear anybody out, but because I told my buddy Vinny, and I said, I said, I'll go on because he asked me, you should go on because I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna go on, but I'm paying for this. That other thing too, I'm paying for it. I'll deduct $200 from my account. And I don't even know why, because I when I signed up for it last year, thinking I was going to get a great deal for $200, what was I going to save? I don't know, $140 or something like that. I thought, okay, I use it at least twice a week, right? And I'm very frugal. I got to get the most use out of it. It's like when you get that car wash pass for $20 or $30, whatever it is, and you got to get your car wash at least once a week to make it worth your while. If you pay $20 once a week, it's $5. Okay, it's great, right? And if it's a bad week where there's a lot of snow or rain, twice a week, now it's cheaper. Now it's $250 a week, right? That's how my brain works. Maybe it's yours too, because I think a lot of people think like that because there's always lines on certain days, right? Then you're waiting like a half hour for this damn car wash. So you got to know the times to go too, late at night or early. But that's kind of where I was going. It's like, like here I am older. I mean, I'm way beyond the ARP card deal. I haven't seen my son or daughter. I know I've become the white elephant in the room. And I said that to him too. I said, there's a lot of people that haven't invited me over again or this and that because they see me and they get whatever. I says, but you know what's funny? The coolest guys I know, married or not, because he's married, Gary's not. There's a bunch of other people like I know. It's like, they've been really cool to me. Now, this isn't just a Chris moment, okay? Because when I do that, I hope it relates to you because I think about that when I do that. I go, because people have, vented to me more than I can count every single day when my son died for months and months and months. And when COVID came and everybody thought 2020 was going to be an amazing year, the same people that were positive, that were getting sick of me, male, female, religious or not, whatever, mostly religious, because, they were saying it was going to be a godly year and, and it's a great, blah, 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 blah. They were the ones freaking out. Okay. I get it. And, sometimes faith is being tested, right? So, but I would hear it all the time, especially when I was going through it. And I'm like, okay, I lost my kid or I'm going through this or my business sucks right now. So I was probably the last person. And I say that all the time. I'm the last person, whatever. But they came to me first, right? Well, then fast forward to now. And it was like this whole time I've been here for 2 years, it was like, I thought, God, nobody's whatever. But then I thought, wait a minute. You know that phrase, don't sweat the small stuff. My dad used to say that to me. He goes, don't sweat the small stuff. Because he's always somehow. He just is, right? My mom would tell me that too. She was, you can't, because she echoes him. And you know what I thought about this morning? Maybe it was late last night. I said, you know what? Do sweat the small stuff. Do sweat it. And I'm going to tell you why. Because for all the negatives and the people that, they read the first part of my post and then they don't read the second half, knowing that they don't know that there's going to be a turnaround, an inversion of something. And because I tried it, I don't know. I want there to be a happy ending at the end of the movie, right? And the reason I sweat the small stuff now is because it's small things that matter to me. Small things. Because people think, well, you're broke, you're old, you're this, you're that, you're this, that. Well, I know a lot of people have money. The guy that had the money right now, he's got a lot of money, like 7 figures worth of money, easily. Pays my buddy well, takes care of him, treated me really cool. And this goes for a lot of people, have money. And, he's not doing well. And he's about my age, give or take. And I lost somebody the other day, and I my buddy who's a millionaire. He's got commercials on the TV every single day, billboards out on the streets. He just lost to dementia a couple days ago, 80. He lost his dad months ago, earlier this year. Same thing, right? His girlfriend, and I know her, right? Because I was over at his house, big, multi-million-dollar house on Lake St. Clair, one of the Great Lakes. Let's see here, somewhere. Yes, here. Okay, Michigan. Oops, my dad's using my Wi-Fi because his doesn't work very good. So, all right, sorry about that. So, and he posted it, so I'm not, this ain't private because a lot of people used to swear me to secrecy. Oh my God, if I had a list, I could do movies and TV shows for the rest of my life on everybody's story out there. And I don't say that lightly, okay? I mean, anyway, he's posting. It's helping him. He's got a lot of money, and he spares no expense on it. And she told him, I guess today, that she just wants to be friends. His mom just died a couple days ago. She just wants to be friends. Because imagine your girlfriend of many years that you've taken all over the world first class. I'm talking Ritz-Carlton, first class on air. It's an airplane. Antarctica, Paris, every we went to every in the world was the goal, the last couple of years. And then all of a sudden she turns and says that to him. I just want to be your friend. I'm like, what? Oh, man. Oh my God. I laugh, but I don't laugh because we all have that, right? So, the superpower that I have, I think, even though I can't do a lot of things in my old life work anymore as much as I do, is I've made things simple, right? Because there have been people that have, been like that. But I don't know. I was just going to think, like, what could I say tonight, or what could I ask tonight of you, whoever's out there? There's three of you. But I know, what happens, I've found out many, many, many times, is that people that will pop on for a minute and we keep going. Sometimes they heard something and somebody or saw somebody. Remember when I used to post music? That was a really big connector. I could do that today. Well, I don't want to do it tonight, but it was fun. In fact, I might do that again one day because it was fun. I actually enjoyed doing that. It was like being a DJ without being a DJ, so to speak. Because the fun parts about being a DJ, a lot of people don't realize this, is that when you pretend to be a DJ when you're a kid, when you hear the radio station, you're going to go, hey, WNIC Detroit or WRIF, and you think you're going to play all the music you like, and you learn all the little cool things, how to talk, how to push buttons, how to mix, But what you don't realize is when you get in front of a live audience at a party or somebody's friend's house or at a bar when people are drinking and stuff like that, that you don't have any power and control really that much. You do, but you don't, because they're always going to drive you crazy. They're going to make you. So that kind of, when I did it on here, it reminded me when I first started, when I was practicing, because I wasn't old enough to work in the club yet. And I was never on the radio. I had a lot of radio friends. I still do. But, and I think you could say the same thing about you being younger, even if you're 35 years old. You can't go and try out for the Olympics at 35 or the Detroit Lions or any team, right? I mean, that's kind of, it's astronomical. Just like Nashville, everybody gets in their car. Sherry's going down to Nashville. Bob's going down to Tennessee to become a rock star or country, the next Morgan Wallen or Waylon Jennings. And when they get down there, man, they got it to less than 1%. I don't care how talented you are, how educated you are, your dreams will not come true. You're better off getting a scratch off at Speedway and, letting them pick the numbers for you. Easy pick. Get like 3-4 of them, and hope for the best, right? And then you wait for like how many hours or a day, and that works. It's not a negative thing. It's a small thing. And that's why I sweat it, because it's like, do I get frustrated a lot? That's my worst disease. I'm frustrated. I didn't understand that part because, for years I was the one making the money. I was the one cleaning the house. I was the one buying the Roombas and the vacuums and paying for the maids and cleaning it myself. I was check off anything you could think of that a rich person and everything in me did it. That's how I worked. And, when I didn't make those like this month, I should be totally wrecked right now that I'm not making, the 10 grand I made last time. Because what it did is it paid back some bills from the month before or the month before that. And then it carried me into January, February, maybe even March. When I went back to Nashville, that's the money I had. And it barely got me to April. I was being very frugal. So, you think you make thousands of dollars and everything's expensive. I don't care how cheap you are, not what kind of apps you have or what kind of discounts you get. But some people are so good at making money and spending money. It's crazy. I don't know how they do it. I wish that was the one secret I wish I knew how to do. But anyway, I just came to check this out because I pay for it. And like I said, 4 or 5 people come on here. A lot of people I know, very educated, that worked hard the last couple of years, really good at what they do. I know people that lost their jobs, cutbacks, whatever's going on out there, the economy. I don't know. There's people out there that are losing their jobs right now, and it'll get worse as time goes on. People that went to good schools, got great grades, climbed the ladder, kissed a lot of butt, get into that position. And, their mindset, they're not used to it. They weren't used to me because they always saw me happy no matter what I was doing. No matter, they didn't know how much money I was making, but I always dressed nice. I always had a nice car. I always, blah, blah, blah. I have a nice one. I mean, even broke. I think I've shown this before. I don't even know what I did with it. Oh, here it is. I got nice cards. There's my real ID. See that? Wrong one. See, I got plenty of that. I don't even know I show you that. So there's people out there worse than I've got it. People out there worse than I've got it. With money, with happiness, with a wife, with a husband. Getting bad news. I don't with you no more. I cheated on you. Fired. Before the holidays. There's no, so it isn't about being negative. It's sweating small stuff. You know what? I like the small stuff because it makes me think to try harder. Is it easy? But I found my gym today after I helped my dad do this, and I went outside, and they didn't ask me to shovel it. Well, he did after I got back. Say, do you think tomorrow maybe you could help, shovel, like if you could shovel the front porch? And I laughed. I already did. And that stuff was heavy, and I was watching the news at the gym on the screens, and they said heart attacks are killing, guys over 40, shoveling heavy snow. Well, that's because they don't work out and their hearts aren't used to the torque. When I was with the fire station when I was in my 40s, they said, yeah, the average person has a heart attack 35 years old on the fire department, nationwide. And, because they're not used to it. Well, I'm conditioned here and of course here. Does that mean I still have a heart? No, but less like. So maybe I wasn't conditioned for the things I went through 6, 7 years ago, 10 years ago. Well, January, it's funny, January, I'll be divorced 13 years, but I was separated before that. January, 3 years ago, last time I saw Sabrina, or Sophie. My daughter just texted me a couple hours ago saying she's going to be in town for a couple days, my oldest. So that, see the difference? See that? This one's gone. This one's coming back. So, you have to split yourself down the middle. Does it work easy? No, and that's the thing I think people most don't get, Like there was things in the fire department, the guys that were 10+ years, some were even there for 20 years. They did there. And they weren't physically capable, even younger. Is that ego? No. It has nothing to do with that. It's to do with because it favors mine. And I wasn't trying to be a firefighter. I was just trying to be healthy. I was trying not to become a diabetic because it runs in my family and it's killed a lot of people. I didn't want to get cancer because cancer doesn't family, but I see it's killed a lot of people I know around me on here. With money, with things. I see them in golf courses. I see them all over the place. We got some form of cancer. It's some bad. What's good or bad? I don't know what that means. But I got it removed from my face, melanoma. That used to be a big deal. Some people get lymphatic cancer. Some people, you learn the word metastasize. You got to try to say that fast. Metastasize. That means it's embedded inside you. Then there's levels. Like stage 2, stage 4, stage 4. That used to be now so much people the small. I think that because I don't handle it, but I hear like my lawyer can see this right now. You big cow. You are. I have to say that. She's just a monster of a woman in every way, shape, and form. And she uses what she has to. Right now, that's my bad side. Like today, I saw a kid walking in. See it all the time. They don't wear their clothes. They purposely don't. And I know it's not because they forgot their coat. Because I saw the kid later because I was sitting an hour. Because I'm doing other things. I've always done that. I've always relaxed. I see people repeatedly. I've seen the same cars. So I don't do that. They live there. They live in the back parking out, their windows tinted or blocked out. And then they have a membership so they can use the bathroom, take a shower and work out. What else they do? Free tanning, but I did, and a massage chair. So everybody's got their thing. Everybody's got their technique of how to survive seeing the cold, especially the heat, especially when money's away. And then some people that don't. And those are the people that I've talked to, They told me a year ago I wasn't going through this. 2 years ago I wasn't going through this. We have another guy, he promotes clubs, right, Vinny? And I'm not going to say his name. He's been on here. He loved when I was doing this, and he's in the club game, popular clubs, in fact, the most popular in Detroit. And he had very attractive girlfriend, brunette. She kind of looked like Belichick's Belichick and whatever that, not quite as pretty, but she was pretty, and he found out she was cheating on him, and he posted and he blasted all over Facebook like daily, daily. And that's the one thing I know. I've said things about my ex-wife, but to be honest, if it's on me, and this anything, or that includes my business, it doesn't make me happy, and I don't think it makes anybody. But I learned that I really want someone else, friend, a lover, partner, go away. I'm that cool about it. I am that cool. Like my ex-wife, I'm so glad she's gone. And her boyfriend, he built Little Caesars Arena, one of the biggest, nicest hotels in Detroit, Hudson Building. He was part of that equation, big company, and he should be proud of himself. He was a very educated guy. I met him at the hospital when Dante was dying, and, but I don't envy him. I don't envy a lot of people. And I have really good girlfriends out there, and I know them around here, so I don't want to say, but I've met their husbands and boyfriends. And you know what? I was the first car. I owned that car first. I don't go back and see who owned my car 10 years later. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I look at life, but I do value I have that I take for granted. I took for granted. I don't usually take things for granted, but I did. And I go, what? I'm glad you're in my life. He goes, bro, because you're golden. Because our mutual friend used to say that about me all the time, because I always paid him on time. I always paid him up front, cash, people to chase. I go, what's it going to cost me? I go, maybe like, I go here. I just pull it off and go here. I go, if you keep it, change. And then Jason and I say that to each other all the time. Go, this guy named Tommy, he was great with it. He led a very healthy, but it's such a waste. He was like a Picasso at what he did. But we inherited that one phrase, golden, and that's what people should be, golden to each other. It doesn't mean you have everything that everybody wants in your life. Money, I've had that. I've been tempted by a lot of things out there. I've said that a million times, right? And for the people that I don't try to post as much anymore, and when I do, I take it down. So if you don't see it, there's a reason you don't see it. It's not because, don't take it personal, because some people might have. I just know that you're not capable. You never liked it. You don't comment on it. You see it. It's my way of, venting. It's my way of sharing. It's my way of relating to other people out there that might get it, because there are a lot of people out there. When I say a lot, I told my friend Vinny, I says, it's funny. Just America's not the most populated country in the world. We don't even have 1 billion people, right? We don't even have 500 million people. But if you took 1% of the 400 million, give or take, think about it. If you make 1 million people, your friend or your fan or your customer, you're successful. Now think about it. 1% of 400 million people, let's say 350 million people, is 35 million. That's 10%, right? 1% is 3.5 million or more. 1% of the United States. So imagine having 1%, even less than, okay? And they're giving you $1. They're your friend. They're your fan. They're on your side. Most of the people I know, no matter who they are, what school they went to, who they're married to, what businesses they have or work for, don't have 3 million people in their corner that follow them, like them, whatever. So, I only want 1% of my Facebook page, because it's a lot of people. Think about it. 1,800 people, give or take. I probably don't know 300 or more I've never met probably more than that. I don't even know how many. I mean, do I really know 18 people? I've met 1,800 people. I don't know 1,800 people. So 1,800 people that are probably bored to death, annoyed, frustrated, whatever the hell. Went to school with, partied with, I don't know what the heck. Okay, so 10% of that is 180, right? A little over 180. Okay, what's 1%? 18. My mom said 5. Remember? 5. My grandmother, she tells me that every day like clockwork. Yeah, Ma, I heard it already for 800th time. You know, she gets stuck on the loop on that. But a guy that's been through my shit and done all this stuff, and I've got more than 18 people, more than. And it's not that hard. The secret isn't that hard. It's because I don't need them around me all the time. I see them once a month, once a year. I'm golden. I'm golden. Is that crazy? I don't need a script to say what I'm saying. What comes out of my head, smartest guy. If I would probably be rich and around here, right? But if I was rich, if I had $1 million now, if I had $1 million, not 100 million, not 50 million, not million. There's people that make a year maybe, and they act like they're multimillionaires all the time, right? Oh, I see it all the time. What makes you really happy? The attention that we get from what we get, our Christmas decorations, our clothes, our cars, whatever. I've been there. I get it. Not wearing clothes to inside a gym. Everybody's in such dire need of attention. It's an addiction that outranks cocaine, heroin, alcohol, smoking, tobacco, marijuana. It's crazy. Someone, they don't even have a reason for it every single day. On here. I don't do this for it. I don't want for it. Yeah, that's why I'm doing it. I was like, I'm watching Blue Bloods as I'm talking to you on this big 85-inch screen my mom never even looks at. Maybe because I'm in here. That's where I make my tea sometimes. But I love the fact that when Jason came to me, he needed the money. And I didn't make him feel like that. He didn't have a wife. He didn't have kids. And he was just the nicest guy in the world. And he's got friends, like I said, that could buy me in 2 seconds, right? Because of the way he looks at life. But I like to feel that before Facebook, and he doesn't follow me on here like all the time, but he does make comments, once in a blue moon, that he's been such a nice asset to my life. And Garrison's been a nice asset to my life. Mr. Positive out there from Detroit Radio, Vinny Assad. There's a whole bunch of women out there. Kathy McAllister, Karen McAllister, Jimmy Parmo. There's just so many people out there I look at, and they brighten you up. You have those people. You have those people. If you got 300 people, not 1,800 people, it's not because you have a lot of friends, because you were very, very careful to keep people that were true in your life. Fans. And that's what you got to share with somebody that maybe isn't as good as you. You can't always pitch in to feed the hungry. You can't always give clothes to the poor, right? It's hard. It's cost money. A lot of us don't have it, right? But the things you do for people to lift them up will inspire them. When you get inspired, you get motivated. You get invited. Like when people go to the gym, I wasn't trying to pick on the kid from, being scrawny. I wasn't trying to pick on a kid ever, because I don't mind motivating him. It's when you're there for the wrong reasons, if that makes sense. And that's how I feel about my life. I feel like, God, maybe my life is used up. Maybe I don't have a purpose anymore, not even with this, right? But there's people that we expect. I had a DJ friend of mine that I used to be really close with 30 years ago. And we reconnected because of a friend on here back in the summer. We talked a few times, and then I hear from this person. And, I'm bummed out about my one website on here, page I have. And I was thinking about it, and all of a sudden, like 12:30 at night last night, out of the blue, she calls me. So there's fluke things out there, small things. I know I've chased away 99% of the people, but you know what? I have 1% left. And that's a beautiful thing. Actually, maybe 3. But it's probably in the neighborhood of just under 100 people. 100 people. Florida, Nashville, New York, California, around the world. That's a pretty good thing. And I don't even belong to a damn country club. It's pretty cool. So that's how you got to do it. Those hacks, those are the free things you do. Find things you love to do. Try as hard as you can. God may not answer prayers or whoever you or you know, but count on yourself. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy. It doesn't mean you're going to like yourself, because I don't like me half the time. Actually, most of the time. But I keep working on positive things all the time for some reason. Why do it? It's an automatic do it too. If I can do it, if I can do it, you can do it. If you had problems in life, you can blame those people. They contribute things. Same thing. I'm never going to recover from my divorce financially. I'm never going to recover from a lot of things. But I do have things that may change life and change people's life. If it doesn't happen, was I bullshitting? Was I lying? No. That was my goal. Just like when people go, I'm going to Nashville. You'll never hear somebody from any city or state in the country or the world going, I'm going to go to Nashville and I hope I fail. No, most people are going to go, oh man, that's a hard business. But nobody stopped that person. Or better, nothing stopping that person. No one stopped me from going to Florida. Nobody stopped me from doing half the thing. Not my brothers. Nobody. Did they want to? Did people say negative things? Sure, all the time. People do. You know, it's funny when you succeed, and I have many times. The attention that I did get, I didn't want. Well, I didn't mind the girls back when I was younger. That attention was nice, but it was too much. The money, yeah, I loved it. It was great. But I always helped my friends. I always paid my bills, and I also helped people that were down and out. Charities, homeless people. Did it pay me back? You know what? I just talked to a friend of mine in Nashville who has nothing in common with me, especially musically down there. And he took care of me so good down there. It makes up for the 10 people that I know up here that probably could take care of me, and I've done favors for. They didn't. Am I mad at those people? No, I was. But I go, well, let's get distracted by our own thing. I've done those things too. Maybe I didn't look back. Maybe I'm guilty of the same thing. I probably am. I never thought about that. But, maybe I didn't tip that person as much as I should have, or that person as much as I should have. I know I took care of a lot of other people out here and there, but there's one you skip, miss here and there. You ever think about that? Like when people buy me a drink, I always tip now. Years ago. And then I noticed when I would buy drinks, the people that, didn't. Not that it's a requirement, but you go the extra step and that energy comes back to you. And people do remember it, even if you don't think so. They do remember it. They go, oh, yeah, they're cheapskate, that, whatever. So, even if you tip 50 cents, I know it sounds like shit, but you know what? As long as you make the effort, to be a better person. Because I have been luckier than most people without going to Harvard, something like that, or having somebody leave me money or winning the lottery or anything like that. I did it with me. I did it from here. I did it with here. And you know what? Did it always work? No. And when it did work, were people always in my corner? Not really. But there was a lot of great people from every one of those situations. Every one of those situations, even the bad situations. Because there's so many good people in my life, I forgot about them. And I'm thinking about it. When I ran into Bob Pfeiffer, my ex-girlfriend that he knew because we met at the same time. Her name was Pfeffer. They weren't related, but we met at the same I met my girlfriend, my first girlfriend, Maureen, at that supermarket, La Rose, about 2 miles from here. And I never thought I'd live in this area ever again. And I saw him 40-something years later. Isn't that great? To me, that's great. That's a miracle. And, he looks different. I probably look different. But when he started laughing and I saw his smile, even with the gray hair and glasses, which he didn't have before, I could see past it. I don't know if it's because I have an eidetic memory and I can see things. I always remember the eyes and I always remember the smile. That's a bonus if people can maintain that smile. And that to me is worth more money than anything there is. If you think about that. Because when you're by yourself and you may have arthritis or you may be in a hospital bed or you may be really sick for a week. I've never had that experience like that. But people are like, oh man, I've been down and out for 4 or 5 days, or the last 3 weeks I've been sick. When somebody walks into a room to see you just for a few minutes, it makes everything better. More than that pill, more than that medicine, more than anything you can think of, it makes life better. Another person. So, you know what? Laser focus. I've never said this before. It just popped in my head. Maybe this is the thing I should say the right way. Sometimes I get lucky. Laser focus on the attention is important, not the general public in the parking lot or in a room at the gym. Those people don't give two craps about you. They really don't. It's really because they're caught in their own thing, their own music. They're not caring. Ooh, they may look at you and say, "Oh, maybe, hey, good, like that outfit," or "God, they're doing it wrong," or "What a jerk," whatever the case may be. But that doesn't bring you any value. Not short term, not long term. It just doesn't. As soon as you leave, it's like traffic. You'll never see those people again, even if they cut you off. What are they gonna do? We're gonna take down their phone number. You never see them again. But we focus on that all the time, instantly, right? That's what most people do. I've noticed that. I did it. And now I focus on I have tunnel vision. I have tunnel vision. And if you're lucky, a group of people that are really cool to you and genuinely good to you, and if you lost everything, or your life goes to crap, or you end up, down and out physically, or, in any way, shape, or form, that they're still there for you. I got lucky. I was so lucky. I got lucky from strangers for a while. I got lucky from friends. But you know what I focused on? You know what? My sensitivity, maybe because I have such a visual memory, and I think you don't even need to have one to notice this part. Because everyone, do you ever notice that let you down, leave you? Like I said about things, the only reason I want to know again was because I didn't want to. I'm like, okay, did I give this person a reason to leave me? So out of 10, I must have said something wrong, and I do that. Did I say something? Sometimes I answer. Sometimes I had a friend from me, and then my New Year's handed me back. It's cool, thanks, Rob. But there's other people that didn't. So it miss. But laser focus on the people that matter. Unless you're famous, and then you have to have an audience of 1 million people every time you go out, and hey, I love you. You don't even know who they are, right? It's kind of silly. It's kind of true. I love you. I love you. So say that. Forget it. People's lives, and that's the part. 99% of the people I know, more than 99% of the people I know, pretty much everybody, except a couple, are famous. How much or down. And at the end of the day, if you have 5 people in your life, like my mom was convinced, and my grandmother was convinced, that's not a bad thing. I know a lot of people that can't call 5 people a day, or have 5 people call them a day. You may not be that person, but somebody around you is, and they're lonely and they're sad. And it's not your obligation, but you know what? And if it is you, or you have a bunch of people around you because of, and then all of a sudden you lose it, like my buddy who's a multimillionaire and loses his girlfriend right after his mom dies. This just happened. Isn't that crazy? And he's got 2 houses right next to each other. And each one, they're like palaces, fully loaded. I mean, they got everything you can think of. Turkish baths and saunas and this. I mean, the most expensive things in the world. I'm not kidding. And he can't keep that person in his life. I feel bad for that. Loses his mom right before the holidays. And he goes to church all the time. Goes to church all the time. Crazy. That's all I'm going to say. Be good out there. Go make some angels. Go make some snow angels and enjoy your holiday, whatever it may be. Big holiday guy, but I love Christmas lights. If you got Christmas lights, I'm cool with that. And if you make a snow angel, just do it on your back and with some snow, and make sure thing in the snow, yellow or otherwise, pure white snow. Okay, all right. And what was the song I just played? Because I'm gonna get out of this thing now. I hope you have a great night, Tina. I'm gonna give you a call because I may be taking you up on coming over for a night or two in the next week or so. All right, if you don't mind. I'm saying that to you publicly. It doesn't matter. See, because hey, Chris, she's amazing. See that. I can say that. Can I say that? Is that okay with that? And Enjoy yourselves. Warm, safe on the roads. Don't cut. And please wear clothes to the gym. And one more thing, don't cut people off and do 10 miles an hour, especially please, right? You know, I hate that. 55, go 5, right? At 12. That's my Christmas wish. Well, Christmas request. How about that? All right, let me see what I got here. All right,
Take
here we
all
go.
the feeling in. This is where hope begins. It's both a birthday and a celebration.
I wrote this one too.
Unforgettable family entwines because it's Christmas time, a time to share and be kind to man. That's baby Jesus play. Sing and shout. The time comes once a year when here's to feelings overtake you and bring you closer to those you hold dear. These are the times to remember the power of December. These are the times to give and also the times to get. These are the never forget. Go spread some joy so you'll never regret. These times you'll remember forever. The power of December. Times you'll always remember.